Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome to another episode of She Rises live speaker series. As you all know, I'm the host, Kelly Boyer, and I'm also the founder of She Rises and the She Rises Foundation. And I also help mentor women through my Clarity Method. And I'm so excited today because we have a very wonderful guest who is here that really does, I'm going to say, emanate what She Rises is all about. And her name is Theresa Nguyen. And we are going to talk about today what you need to know about dragon energy. But before we do that, let's dive in just a little bit to who Theresa is and what she does. And she is a dragon channel and sound therapist who helps release fear, activate the throat chakra, and awaken your soul. And she guides you into full expression and deep healing through her transformative dragon energy work. And like I said, today's topic is what you need to know about dragon energy. So settle in, open up your heart, and let's dive in. Hi, Theresa. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you here.
Hello,
And we already
Kelly.
have, oh, so I'm sorry. I was gonna say we already had somebody comment that they're excited to learn and hear more about dragon energy, and so am I. So,
Wonderful. It's great to be here. Thanks everyone for joining and just creating space to be able to hear about the dragons and learn more.
yes. So let's dive in because, in my work, I've worked with dragons, but I'm gonna be honest, it's not something that I work with often. So I would love to hear more about what is dragon energy and and maybe we'll start with this is how did you connect and begin working with dragon energy?
Uh, it was a slow process. It was like a lot of back and forth, a lot of like me in denial of it. But I would say like the very first time was one of my mentors actually told me that there is such thing as dragons in the spiritual realm, like so I'm Vietnamese by background. Dragons are part of our culture, but they're mystical, they're archetypal types of energies. They're not real, it's symbolic really. So that to me was normal, but dragons being described as the equivalent of an archangel, for example. So archangels to me are real. I
Mhm.
didn't believe that dragons were like that. But when she told me that they were real in that sense, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, I've never heard of that before. And that was maybe 6 or 7 years ago or something. And at that time I was an energy healer. So I kind of like sort of played around with it, but it wasn't super intentional. It was just kind of like, okay, let's see what this energy is about. And they were just very surface at the periphery, I guess you could say, because I wasn't really serious about it. I didn't really believe it. So it was just kind of this energy that was like, well, we'll just sit here and watch. So I knew they were there, and like you, like I just didn't know what it was. And honestly, I wasn't that interested in it. So it was, several years later, I had a couple of plant medicine experiences. And I would say that was my first introduction, but I didn't know at that time. In looking back, I can say that that was like an introduction to it, but in those moments when I experienced it, I had no idea that that was the type of energy that I was being made aware to and how it felt in my body. I thought it was more of a meet, one of your spiritual team, which is Kali Ma. And for those who are listening, Kali is one of the dark goddesses, dark, not dark as in scary, just dark as in shadow. She is a Hindu goddess, and if you look her up, she looks really freaky. She has like this bloody tongue, sometimes like black or blue skin. She has skulls around her neck, or sometimes decapitated heads around her neck. It just depends on what picture it is. She looks really gory and really crazy. And that was my introduction to her. And even then, I was like, oh my God, this is too much. Like it's such a different energy than archangels. It's really intense. Not that archangels aren't, it's different.
Mhm.
Um, and so when I had that experience, I was like, oh, this is too much. I'm not sure if I align with this energy, if I want to connect with it. It was again, the I couldn't connect to the symbolism of
Mhm.
what Kali represented. I only saw the image, and that just really kept me from wanting to interact with that at all. It was a lot of fear of the unknown, of not understanding. So then, a few years later, I am invited as part of a retreat support team. So it's a retreat at Mount Shasta. I don't really know much about it. I looked into a little bit about what Mount Shasta was. I knew it had dragon energy. I knew like that there were spiritual beings who lived in the mountain, but I didn't do a lot of research. I was just like, oh, cool. This is a free trip. I get to come to support this amazing retreat. Yes, I'm in. And my friend, who is one of the main facilitators, she told me that they were going to do a sound bath the very first night. And out of nowhere, I just knew that something was going to happen to me that night. And I told her, I said, I have a feeling there's something there for me. So I need you to watch me, pay attention to me when the sound bath happens. Typically, I'm the person who facilitates sound healings. So this is a really wonderful opportunity for me to be able to receive. So the first night of the retreat, we finished dinner. There's no alcohol, no plant medicine involved in any of this. We're completely sober. And I walk into the yurt and my heart starts to race. There's something going on in my body. I am starting to panic a little bit because I'm not nervous, but my body is reacting as if something is wrong.
Mhm.
And, my nurse brain is like, okay, I'm going into tachycardia. If this doesn't stop, like my heart is going to either stop or I'm going to pass out, I'm going to die, just all of the extreme thoughts, all of the worst case scenarios are running through my mind right now. But I'm not alerting anyone because I don't want to to scare anyone either. And I'm thinking, okay, well, this is a sound healing. The sound is going to calm me down. It's going to calm my nervous system down. I don't know why this is happening. Um, so the sound bath starts, and the facilitator, as soon as she beats her drum, this energy, whatever is happening inside me right now, starts to get even more intense. And every single time she beats her drum, it's like this energy is like boom, and it just wants to come out. But at the same time, I'm holding it in with all of my might, all of my strength. And I'm just in prayer. I'm just asking and begging God, please not now, please not now. Like, I don't know what this is. Please not now. Because I know there's something that wants to come out. I just had no idea what that was going to look like, what it sounded like, what I was going to do. And I was like, oh my God, am I going to be possessed? Like, am I going to start like hurting people? I mean, I don't know. Again, just all these crazy thoughts are in my head. And because of this uncertainty, of this unknown of what was going on here, I didn't know how I was going to behave if I let go, if I surrendered to whatever was happening. But it got to this point where I couldn't hold it in anymore. The sound was just amplifying this energy that was in my body. It just kept wanting to come out. That's like the old, like the best way I could describe it is just like this really intense, crazy, strong energy that didn't feel familiar to me at all, wanted to come out of my body. And it just scared me. But again, I couldn't physically hold it in anymore. So then I was like, I just have to let go. So as soon as I started to surrender, I started making these noises with my mouth and my tongue and my throat. And my body started convulsing. I was hissing and I was um, uh, clicking and I was making these like K sounds like from the back of my throat and the energy then it just started like zipping up and down my body like electricity, like someone plugged me in and now there's like a 100,000 volts of energy just like streaming inside my body. And all of this is going on. I'm making these strange sounds. I'm convulsing and I'm still here, like in my head, thinking, what is going on? Like, I have no control over anything right now. And as soon as I try to stop it, again, there's like a lot of resistance, a lot of just like my inability to halt this process.
Mhm.
And as soon as I start making that noise, my friend comes over and she's amazing healer and channeler and she holds that space for me and she reassures me I'm safe and I'm okay. And then at that point, I feel really safe. I feel very like, you know, in allowance to experience whatever this is in full force because I'm like I am safe. I trust this person. I know if there's something that's not right, that's not supposed to happen, that she's going to take care of it. So then when I'm in full allowance, I mean, it's like I allowed this energy to basically do anything and everything. And in about 5 minutes after my friend came, I opened my eyes and I saw the dragons swirling above me. So I knew it was dragon energy. And I
Mhm.
thought, oh, that's so interesting. This is what it feels like. I'm like, they're kind of crazy. I'm not really sure if I like them. Like, I'm just thinking and all these things are going on. I'm still very human. And even though I'm saying all of this in my head, I'm still kind of scared. There's still some fear there because I don't logically understand why this is happening. They're not speaking to me. I'm not getting any messages or downloads. This is all very physical. And so this goes on for about 45 minutes. And in between that time, the sound facilitators are doing their thing. And then the dragons start to sing and they start to sing in these vibrato and sounds and tones and notes that I have never done myself.
Mhm.
And it was something that I'll never forget, obviously. And that
Yeah.
was I would say my official introduction to dragon energy because that was like the full force of it. I was aware, awake, experiencing all of it and in full surrender and allowance of this energy and knowing what it felt like, at least in my body, even if I didn't understand it. At the end of the sound bath, I was really embarrassed because I was loud and disruptive. At least that's what I thought I was that's what I thought was happening because they weren't quiet. The dragons were not quiet. Um, and when I shared with everybody what was happening, besides the two people who were laying next to me, they knew what was going on. They knew that I was having some sort of experience. So besides the two people sitting next to me, everybody else thought it was the sound bath facilitators making the sounds. And they were like,
Oh my
oh,
gosh.
that was you? We thought it was part of the whole experience. And then they started laughing. They're like, oh my God. I was thinking, oh, that's a really interesting sound they're making, so it made me feel better about like not uh being somebody who put fear in others. Rather, it was just me making myself, fearful of this experience. And then also several of them came up to me and they said, what's really interesting is even though I've never heard those sounds before, it just was very familiar to me and I can't describe to you why. Like I can't tell you why it was very familiar, but I just wanted you to know that. And that was sort of also my first hint as to what this type of energy does and what I would use it for and how I would be working with it. And so this would be something I call an activation, dragon activation, where one, I was experiencing the activation, but also even while I was having this experience, very different than the other people who were in the circle, they also had an activation, an activation of remembrance of there is something here for me. Like, I don't know what this energy is. I don't know how to describe it, but it feels like home. It feels like a part of me. And that's that's how my journey started.
Wow, that is quite a journey.
Yeah.
But so one of the things that I love about it is that is the like I love the honesty that you shared because, I'm gonna say there's things on the spiritual journey that can be very shocking. And it does show your human side of like, I'm not gonna let this thing go. Like, what
Yeah.
if number one, like, how is it gonna react to, as coming out of me, and how will other people receive it? And I think that's very real. And sometimes we don't always talk about that experience enough. We talk about kind of honestly, all the good parts of it, right?
Hmm.
But we're still human having like this unknown experience.
Yeah.
So I love how you shared that just to let people understand that it's okay to feel this way, right?
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
But
Yeah. And
I do have a really probably strange question because you were saying that the dragons were singing. Was that also coming out of you, or is that what you were hearing just
no, it
on?
was coming out of me.
Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I didn't hear anything. Everything
Oh,
was, they
gotcha.
were
Okay.
working through me. Yeah. There was not like, start
Yeah.
singing or anything like that. It was just, they were in my body.
Oh my gosh, I'm like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And I love that people, um, people were very accepting of it because it's something that they recognize.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
It made me feel so much better about,
yeah.
um, being there.
Yeah. And God was definitely like, you can hold on as long as you want, but he's like, I will win.
I know. Yeah, like you can try to control things, honey, but in the end, you just have to
Right.
surrender.
Right.
Mhm.
And look, and you did, and now look at like this is part of like this is your work and this is what you do with people.
Yeah, and I again, even when someone told me about dragon energy, I was just like not interested. It didn't fascinate me. I
Mhm.
didn't go and try to research it, you know. So
Yeah.
it's that to me was I was like, wow, like I really did not care about it. you know? And it's like maybe, not even maybe, this had to happen the way it happened.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I would never have awoken or wanted to or had
Yeah.
this desire within me to to you know um co-create with the dragons
Yeah.
and be able to share this with people. I mean I could have tried to share it back then when someone told me, but that same desire, that same experience of what this energy was,
Mhm.
I didn't have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like I had to be in my 40s, and I had to be in that space of safety. And that's very important.
Yeah.
Had my friend not been there, had someone who I did not trust with my life not been there, I don't think I would have been able to allow myself to go that deep and be in 100%. I mean, I was 100% in surrender. That I think was pivotal. Um, and then, obviously, I'm not going to discount the all of the healing and the experiences and everything else that kind of prepped me to get to this point. But it's like a combination of everything, was like
Yeah.
stewing, everything was like ripening and it was just like the right moment.
Oh, and I do love how that works because I really believe that it's always in the right moment when we need it. Um, and there. and I mean, there is a lot of prep work and healing to do to get you fully ready for what it is that you're going to step into.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Okay, so now that we all got to experience your experience. So, what, like, can you describe a little bit more? Like, what is dragon energy? Like, how would we be able to how would we, who isn't familiar with it, be able to
Mm-hmm.
recognize that that's the energy that we're currently experiencing?
Yeah. Okay. So I need to say that the dragons that I work with are different than other dragons that you may work with. So the energy that I describe is the energy that I feel when I work with what I call the Dragon Collective. Okay. So as you were listening, and if you know dragons are a dragon energy or dragons are something that you want to work with, I just want to make you aware that it may not feel the same way because your work with dragons may be different than my work with dragons. So it's a different frequency, different energy that will be interacting with you. So dragon energy, the way I work with it is this life force energy. It is primal, it's raw, it's super ancient. I mean, the things that they've told me are it's an existence. It is an energy that has been here before, the creation of the universe. It is like beyond time and space. And they come from all sorts of dimensions. The ones were from Mount Shasta, they were from the ninth and the 12th. But these dragons, the dragons that are the collective that I work with, they sometimes don't have a dimension. There's not an assignment. It is just way beyond. They are here, their purpose and their mission is to help humanity in their healing and ascension. So, like, what does that mean? Um, for me, it is really being able to reach the people and the groups of people who have this desire and this knowing and this wanting to to help people, but it's like through this immense um, feeling of love, and it's something usually that has sort of like been your theme throughout your entire life. It's people who have gone into careers of serving others because they just have this empathetic heart to help and to love and and so getting back to dragon energy, what it is and why they're here. It's those people that they're hitting. It's those people that they're wanting to work with. It's those people that are having these activations, because we're at this point, on Earth where we all feel it. The energy is crazy. People are crazy. People are suffering. People can't think for themselves anymore. People are really feeling the duality, of life and of the energies that are out there. And we feel how dense and how heavy that is. And when you think about dragons, it is basically what you imagine, the tradition, I'll call it the traditional image, these huge, enormous beings with wings and fire and flames. And it could be water, it could be air, it could be, it has all sorts of gifts and elements that each dragon has. But it is a very big energy. And because what we're facing, what we're encountering, what we're having to um, understand and cohabit with, um, because we understand how heavy that energy is, we need something just as powerful, right? To be able to, I wouldn't say counter, but balance, be able to kind of like balance the scales a little bit, a lot actually. Um, and this energy, when you also think about dragons, you think about like, oh my gosh, at least this is the way I think about them. They've never been negative to me. Again, it's because of my upbringing, but it might feel scary to other people because of, Game of Thrones dragons, or the dragons that they have seen in the movies or books that are really violent and crazy and just want to kill and burn down towns. Um, but that's not the energy that the dragons are about. They are about helping humanity. They are about, helping us wake up, activate, heal, change, shift, transform, transmute, transfigure, like all of that. Um, to be able to um, tap into these gifts that we all have. So we all have these gifts that have been passed down generation to generation. But there's a point, if you go all the way back, which none of us have documentation for, if you go back 10,000 years, okay, I'm just a number I'm throwing out there. If you go
Mhm.
back 10,000 years, those ancestors, I'll call them, who lived way back in that time, didn't have to deal with the stuff that we're dealing now, or even with the stuff that we've dealt with over the last 2,000 years. There was no war, there was no famine, there was no power struggle, there was no greed, there was no discrimination, there was no racism. Like everybody was able to live in peace. It's like nobody cared what you did. Nobody cared what you looked like. Nobody cared if you like cast spells. Like everybody was able to live in this sense of freedom. So when you have that sense of expansion, freedom, no fear of anything, can you imagine who you would be? Who you would allow yourself to become, like just yeah, just allow yourself to think that way, okay? If you had nothing to hold you back. No one thought anything about you. You had total freedom to be able to receive, activate, practice, implement these gifts. What would that look like? Like, I can't even imagine.
Right.
So that's what they were able to do. But then at some point, humanity evolved into, this energy of where we judge. You can't do that. This is bad. If you do that, you can get punished. Oh, you're different. Let's kill them. So then people stopped doing that. They stopped becoming who they are. They
Mhm.
started to no longer practice those things. And so those gifts become dormant at some point. Say it was at 5,000 years, okay? Say at
Mhm.
5,000 years that started happening. And every single generation from there started doing the same thing, right? Like, let's say the number was 5,000 years ago. So if you can imagine 5,000 years ago, slowly just starting to take away, starting to numb, starting to suppress, starting to turn off, starting to become unaware, starting to no longer, you know, believe that imagination is creation, imagination is powerful. Like we've started to, turn all of that off. You get to that point where nothing is magical. There's no gifts really that you're aware of, other than the ones that people are displaying, or people are showing, or people are reflecting to you, right? So I like to compare it to like and I'm not trying to dumb down anyone's gifts. I'm just trying to help you see like the scale of what has been untapped within you. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's just use clairvoyance.
Okay.
When I think about clairvoyance, I think about, oh, being able to either see visions in my mind's eye or just see visions as I'm opening my eye. It's like very visual. I see images, I see, a scene before me, I see people talking to me, whatever. That's like clairvoyance. And that is a gift, and it's a beautiful gift, and it's a powerful gift, but it's something that you can explain. It's something that you've heard a lot of people
Mhm.
um, activate, strengthen, open up. Things like dragon energy are activating gifts that you cannot explain, that you cannot understand through a book, that nobody else can tell you what it is. And that is, I think, the most challenging thing is the gifts that are now activating within people. It is ancient, ancient, ancient. There's nothing to explain what it does, how you work with it, what is it, like what does it look like? How do I start connecting with it? it's truly something that you have to figure out on your own. And yes, there might be some people that could give you a little bit of insight, but it's not energy that they've ever worked with. So they cannot give you insight. It is you, you're the expert, you're the guru. You are, the person to rediscover whatever this is and then start to figure out what the heck am I supposed to do with this? And it does suck a little bit because someone who is like me, who's always like wanting to understand and always wanting control, always wanting to like, what is the outcome? And like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I don't like that. I don't know, I don't
Oh,
like
I
that.
totally
I don't
relate to
know.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I'm
Mhm.
the same way. Like I want to know things. Like I want to know the who, what, when, where, and how of how things operate.
Yeah.
Um, can I just interject really quick because I love the fact that you're bringing up is having these gifts that you can't explain. And it speaks so deeply to me because I mean I can only say for myself, but I mean there's other people that I've had that have kind of said the same thing, but like, I understand like I mean, I can do like I have clairvoyance, I have, clairaudient, like I have those things. And I feel like that's great, but I also always knew that there was this underlining gift like that you're talking about underneath that I never could explain to everyone. So that's come back up again for me. How do I explain what it is that I do? Like, who am I? And I love, this is so helpful for me because it explains so much as you're
Good.
explaining it. But I guess the question in that is, um, one of the things as I was kind of when I'm sitting there and kind of in meditation and just kind of asking questions, is that one of the answers that I get is like, it's just naturally you. Like
Hmm.
it's the thing that you don't think about when you do it. It's the thing that happens in a split second because, like you said, it's unique to you and only you know the energy of it.
Hmm.
So does that sound, I mean, are we talking similar things when we talk about like the naturalness of it?
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, after that activation in Mount Shasta,
Mhm.
I didn't have to learn anything. Like it was just a part of me at that point. I didn't have to learn light language. I didn't have to learn, what it felt like to hold dragon energy. It was, it just became a part of me. And so it is a part of you. That's why it's activated in you. That's why it is like so freaking ancient. It's been passed down, whatever, 10,000 years, through your lineage, through
Yeah.
your lineage. And yeah, we have lineage from the soul aspect, right? Like, starseed, Palladians, Arcturians, that kind of lineage. But there's also the human lineage
Mhm.
who has had these powerful gifts that some people can argue, well, it's what's the difference because we are reincarnated from a star seed into a human being, for example. So, like why wouldn't it just be like the gift from your soul, which is originally a star seed, whatever. And I think that's a really good point. Um, but also, you know, when we're reincarnated into humans, we're still born from a body, a human body. For today, at least, we are.
Yes, I'm all as of right now.
Yes. And everybody who has reincarnated has had to do the same
Mhm.
through a human body. And through that human body, you're still taking on genes and DNA. And again, remember, like, well, I just assume that people think the same way sometimes, but okay, I'm just going to preface it with I believe that, again, we choose like who we are, um, the family that we come into physically, meaning like our bloodline. um, before we come in, and all of that's planned, right? Like we choose, and we choose when to come in and whatever. So if we chose all of that and we chose our family line, we're also taking on like everything that they had as well, little bits and pieces as it continues to, each generation continues to be created. Um, and that becomes a natural part of us, even if we don't know it's there. And then when it starts to get into this period of time when it does need to get turned on, it is a part of you. It's not something that you can learn from anyone else. It's something that you need to learn to trust. It's
Mhm.
something that you need to learn to be comfortable with. It's something that you need to learn how to, wield, and what is with the maximum capacity that I can hold with this energy, with this magic, with this gift. What possibly could I do more with it? And then you start to experiment, you start to play around with it, you start to get curious about it. But you're right, it does feel very natural, and it feels like there's no effort, and that's how it should be. And I think the hard part for a lot of people, because we're human too,
Mhm.
is um having to understand everything. And then the people who want to understand, like asking you the questions about like, how does this work? And then if you tell them, well, I'm not sure, like that's not good enough for them. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
right. They kind of look at you funny. You're like, well, wait a minute. How do you not know? And you're like, I just don't know.
Yeah. So, like, as this energy starts to, as you start to work with this new energy that's activated inside you, that doesn't mean, too, like, that you can't ask the team, your spiritual team, because they will have some insight. And if it is something that does need to be shared, if it's something that other people need to be able to learn about, tap into, then that information will be given. That information will surface, that information will come up. But if it's just private to you, if it's just really meant for you for this lifetime, it's something special. It's something that does not need to be shared. It is just you, and just you being you is enough for people to experience healing that they need, right? Like, you've met those kind of people, they walk into your room, into the room, and instantly you're attracted to them. You're like, I need to be her friend. you know, I don't know
Yes.
what's going on with her, but I need to be her friend. Like, I want to be around her. I just want to, like, like touch her shoulder.
Right. I was gonna say you start scooting your chair closer.
Yeah. So it's like that, where, you don't need to actually have to share anything. You are just you. And by being you, you're healing. So there's that part of the aspect of like these gifts, that are waking up. But I will say, the ancient gifts, they're you're aware of it. You're aware that it's different. It's not that you're asleep. It will activate, and it'll make you feel things, experience things, um, and then you'll start asking yourself, like, what is this? And you'll ask other people, that you trust, or other people who work with energy. I don't understand what's happening to me. And most of the time they might say, something like, your gifts are waking up, and it might not be something that they can explain clearly to you. And at that point, then you have to be your own teacher, and you have to kind of figure it out and trust, again, trust that whatever is coming up, whatever you believe it to be, however you believe it to work, is the truth for you, because nobody else can tell you what it is except for you.
Yes, I love that you said you have to become your own teacher. And I think that goes back to what we were always saying is that you have everything within you that you need.
Hmm.
So I almost feel like it's like it is because, like you said, we're human and we're like, what's happening to me? So we start asking everybody, like, to try to find out. But
Yeah.
ultimately, it almost like it sounds like it forces you to have to go back in
Mhm.
and like you said, becoming your own teacher, become you are like you're the master, the teacher, and the learner all
Yeah.
in one, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to me that sounds like I mean it could sound really scary because you're like, "Oh my gosh, like where do I get guidance from?" But like we
Mhm.
have everything inside. So at the same time, I'm like that sounds really empowering because that's I feel like that's the direction that we try to take people in is you have it, like you said, trust it, like
Mhm.
be with it and learn from it. So
Yeah.
I love that you said that. I have a question for you, and this is my own curiosity because you like this is very ancient energy, and you talked about we're in these times of just confusion, handing over our power, not being able to think for ourselves. And I've gotten a lot of downloads in regards to going back to ancient time, like ancient teachings,
Hmm.
where the best way I could describe it is like where the energy was more pure versus like you said, like, from 5,000 years to now, we have had all of this conditioning that also has really like dormanted us, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Do you feel that do you feel, well, first of all, I guess it's two-fold question. Do you feel that right now that ancient energy is really coming in hard and strong again? And whether you believe that or not, but like I guess my other question is, um, I guess what would be a good way to receive that? Because we've been taught all these other things for so long.
Mm.
Am
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
don't know if I'm asking that very
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah. Well, let me answer and then you can clarify if I'm
Okay,
not answering your
okay.
question. Yeah. Uh okay, yes. In terms of your first question, yes, these ancient energies are they're they're coming back, right? But um and this message has been coming up for the last couple years is you don't have to do things the way they've always been done. So to you, I'm not you specifically, Kelly, but I'm saying like to people, to you, it might feel like this ancient energy is new, and the things that you're doing to connect with this energy is new, but it's not. It's just, it's different. It's new to you because nobody else is doing it.
Hmm.
You know, it's new to you because nobody else has showed you, taught you how to do that, or you've never witnessed anyone else do it that way. Um, so yes, we are bringing back the ancient energies.
Hmm.
Um, because you're right, it is more pure. It's not polluted, right? Like those energies, say 10,000 years ago, um,
Hmm.
at its maximum, experienced everything that it could. Those ancestors did everything that they could with that. And as that, all those secrets and all the dormant information and knowledge is coming back,
Hmm.
we are rediscovering, that there are different ways to
Hmm.
work with the energy. That may not be typical. It's not new. It's just it's old. Just nobody knew about it, right? It's not documented
Yes.
anywhere. Yeah, and people will say, "Oh, there's this new energy." I remember when it was uh the first time it came back after Mount Shasta, I started like, of course, like researching dragon energy, like who works with this, like tell me what it is, explain it to me. And I saw this person online. They said, "Oh, this new energy coming in, it's dragon energy." I was like, that's not how I feel. Like I don't really feel this is new, you
Hmm.
know. So some people will experience it differently. To them, it was new. To them, this is new energy, but to me, it's not. It's like really old energy. Just nobody knew about it.
Yes, or it's kind of been like swept under the rug. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I know what you mean by people are like, this is new energy because I've experienced that where people have said that. I'm like, it doesn't feel like it's new. It just
Mm-hmm.
feels like we're just like maybe we're just now discovering
Yes, yes,
it, you
yes,
know?
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I thank you because I've been asking that question just kind of I guess to kind of gauge if other people are kind of noticing that
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, we call it like it's not new energy that's coming in. It's really this beautiful, like like old ancient energy that doesn't have the distortion in it that's coming back
Yes.
in. And I think we're really just kind of going back to that original, I, I don't know, that original place of
Mm-hmm.
it,
Mm-hmm.
which in my opinion, I think is so beautiful because I think we get to really see, like I said, like the power that's the beautiful power that's within it.
Mm-hmm.
Not this power that we're currently in of like controlling people and overtaking. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
I think it's so cool. So I do want to ask you, because you kind of slightly mentioned it in the beginning about, your the way the dragon energy that you connect into may be different from somebody else. So that tells me that there's a possibility of different types of dragons.
Yes. I mean, all sorts of dragons.
Okay. Yeah, so I would love
You
to hear
name your problem or your desire or whatever it is you want to work, there's a dragon for that, you
more.
know? What I have learned from the Dragon Collective is one, they hate labels, you know? I tried to name my first dragon and it just like they didn't like it. And they did not want a name. So I stopped naming them.
Mhm.
Um, there are, there's elemental dragons, there's celestial dragons. Um, there's fairy dragons, there's all sorts of starseed dragons, they're all types of dragons. And they don't just have one purpose. They have a strength, you know, like for example, a fire dragon, like their strength is fire. But that doesn't mean that that's all they do is use fire to clear and transmute and like, burn things down. Like fire is also growth, right? Fire is expansiveness. Fire, I mean, you think about all the things that can use fire for, that's everything the fire dragon can be used for. But besides that, too, if you just take the fire away, they can still help you with other things too without having to use fire. So we limit the dragons and we say, oh, this dragon is a starseed dragon, working with the Palladians, blah, blah, blah. And they just think that's just a bunch of BS. The Dragon Collective. They're just like, no more labels. It doesn't matter. Why does it matter so much who we are and what we do? What matters is you tap into the energy of what we can offer you. If you want abundance, if you want money, fine. Then just ask for it. You don't have to call in necessarily a money dragon. But as humans, we need those labels to understand. So I get it and they get it. So you're not wrong for doing either. They're just saying you don't have to. So, and yeah, the energies are different too. So if you need, say you want like a dragon to bring in just more peace, into the home. Well, the first thing is probably not inviting in a fire dragon, right? Maybe like at all.
That makes
Might be a little bit more like, if you want peace, I'm thinking you want something more gentle.
sense.
So then, but you can also just ask for that. You don't have to call in any particular dragons. Just be like, okay, dragon guide. If you were to reveal yourself to me, please do. If you're not ready or you don't think that's important, then, I'm okay with that. But I really want to feel more peace in this home. There's a lot of tension and there's a lot of stress. And I would like for you to help me figure out, how do I bring more peace? How do I work with you and what you can offer to bring more of this peace into the home? And it might be they'll say, well, we want you to sing, sing and bring that vibration of peace through your voice. A lot of it is through sound. Like
Mhm.
my whole work with dragons has been through my throat. And this has been the biggest like thing that has been needed to be healed in for me in my lifetime. So it's so appropriate, that I'm working with dragons now because so much is through the voice. And also dismantling the meaning behind sound. What is a scary sound? What is a pretty sound? What is a pleasant sound? What is, a sad sound? Sometimes, yes, you can feel it. But when someone makes a sound, it's scary to us because it is something that reminds us of something scary. So when someone has, you think about like horror movies, right? And the way somebody screams in a horror movie. Well, if that same type of scream came from my mouth, what they're trying to say is, we are trying to help you um, uh, maybe not redefine, but well, maybe it is redefine, like give you a new meaning to sound so that when something scary comes out of my mouth, for example, and
Mhm.
it reminds you of, uh, I don't know, something painful that happened in the past, that it's almost like helping you to let go of the meanings that you have put to like frequencies and vibrations. And as you learn to do that, you'll start to also loosen the meaning and definition that you have around these labels that we give people, and what they mean to you. And then this has also happened to me a lot, where I'll try to say words, and this happens to me a lot on podcasts and these kind of interviews, where I'll try to think of a word and I can't. It like won't come to me anymore. And they're telling me it's because we're trying to help you to give that word a new meaning. So we don't want you to continue to use that word anymore. We want you to use a different word. So it's things like that. Um, that have come up through healing my throat chakra and using my throat chakra. Did I make sense of that for you?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Especially the part like, well, I love that you're talking about like new words, right? Of new meanings. I was actually having a conversation with one of my friends a few weeks ago. But her and I have this thing about words and language and the importance of using it properly so that you get the correct vibration.
Hmm.
And she had said to me, she said, "Do you feel like the words that we used to use will no longer be in existence, and there will be like a new vocabulary that's coming up?" And I thought, when she said that, I thought in my head, "Oh my gosh, this is so crazy," because that's what I've been thinking, and this is just the way that I feel, is those words will then even have more vibrational tone, more frequency to it, because that's what our system and our world and our earth, and we all work on those frequencies and vibrations are needing for whatever this next stage or next level that we're moving into. So
Hmm.
I love it. I'm like, you're saying the best things. Like maybe I came into this with like not knowing this list of questions that I actually really had in the background. Um, but it just confirms like that's just part of the shift that we're doing. I was gonna take it to audience questions, and Jen had already asked a question, but I think maybe you may have answered most of it in what you were just saying. But she did ask, like, do you have any suggestions on how to best invite this energy in?
Yeah, I mean, start simple, like start with a meditation, your meditation time. And simply, and make sure you do like the regular things. You clear your space, you clear your energy body, and you like balance your chakras. Make sure all of that is done. And then you go into meditation and call in, just say dragon guide, just be like, I would like to connect with my dragon guide. Call in your team, call in your angels, whoever that you work with, and just ask them to help you connect with this dragon guide, like, and you'll have to sit there because sometimes the dragon won't come in like the first or second or third time. But then the fourth time you'll feel something different, or you'll see something different, or whatever, sense or know, that they're there. Sometimes too, you can direct it and be like, well, if my dragon guide decides to step for or come through, I would like for this energy to come, in front of me so I
Mhm.
can either see it or feel it, sense it, and know it, like for sure, right? Like I don't want to second guess. So have that energy come in front of me so that I know that that is my dragon guide. You can do things like that so that you're not questioning so much. I love using the drum to call in the dragons. There's something about sound that they love. So anytime you can use an instrument, any instrument, doesn't matter. But I like the drum, I like the singing bowls, toning, where you hold a note for a long period of time. You bring it like it comes from your belly and it moves up out through your mouth, but it's like a very expanded sound, not something that comes from like a constricted voice. It's
Mhm.
very expanded and open, and that is basically you um, increasing the vibrational uh, level of frequency that you're holding to be able to align with the dragon energy that wants to connect with you. So, spirit, right, has super high vibrational energies, us, super dense. So, we need to do whatever we can within our bodies or in or around us to be able to how do we merge, how do we align, how do we connect with them? And so we do it through sound. I mean, that's the best way I can think of, and because sound is frequency and it can get to those higher vibrations without us thinking about it. So that's what I would do in meditation, through sound, through your voice instruments. Call on your team, and then ask your dragon guide to come through wherever, front, back, left, right, so like when you feel the energy or sense the energy or see the energy, that it's them. And then you can also ask, once you've connected with them, you know, why are you here? What is your mission? Uh, and if nothing comes through, don't get discouraged. Just stay consistent, right? That is the key to every relationship, right?
Mhm.
If you're going to date someone and you connect with them once on the first date and then you don't call them or talk to them for like 2 weeks, I mean, they're going to get mad at you. They're going to be like, well, if there's somebody who likes you, right? They're going to be mad at you. They're going to be like, oh my God, like, why hasn't this person contacted me? So you want to create that relationship, establish, some sort of rapport, get to know the energy so that when it does come around without you actually asking it to, like, like, oh, I can feel my dragon guide, like I can feel like the warmth of their wings around me, or, maybe you're going through something really tough and the dragon guide decides to step through and you recognize the energy. So that's why you need to be consistent, because you need to recognize what it is that you're connecting with, how it feels, and continue to work with each other and understand, like, why are they here? Are they just here for you for this lifetime, or are they here to work with you in energy and helping expand and heal and activate as well?
Oh, I love that. Oh, she said that helps. Thank you. I love this
Good.
talk. Oh, she said her heart is singing.
Oh, I love that. Wonderful.
Yes, I do too. Uh, do either of you in our audience have any more questions for Teresa for today? That was a really good question, by the way, Jen. No, I think that was the big question.
Okay.
So, Teresa, you want to do an activation for us, which I'm really super excited for you to do.
Mhm.
I would love to just kind of hand it over to you and let's do it.
Okay, sounds good. Let me
Okay.
just update my audio settings here. Okay. Okay, so all you have to do is just close your eyes and I will do the rest. Okay. get oh akalalala Get them back when you're ready.
That was incredible. I've never experienced anything like that.
Mm.
That was
I'm happy
so,
that you loved it.
yes. And Jen
Mhm.
just commented, said amazing. I agree with her. Yes, I've never ever have experienced that.
Mhm.
That was me. That was amazing. And I'm like, I could feel myself just going like so deep.
Mm. Yeah.
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 Wow.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's the power of sound and frequency, like
ah,
this is our time to exercise our voice, not through words, but through the ability to do everything that we can with this gift that we're born with, like we are
yes.
born with this. Yeah.
Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. Yeah, like I can honestly say I've never like I've never experienced that or have had like that. I like the only way I can describe it is deep. I know that's not
Mhm.
I'm saying that word, but it doesn't feel like it's the
I
right
know.
word. I feel like there's
Yeah.
a better word, but I can't think
Yeah.
of it right now. So
Hmm.
that was incredible. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
you're
for
welcome.
wanting.
You're welcome. Like, and people receive at whatever capacity they can. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like, I've had people come and they've received the activation and they're like, I didn't feel anything. But, it could also just be like, did you come in skeptical? Did you come in
Right.
belief? Were you in your head the whole time? So
Yeah.
there's also that practice of like, maybe you need to practice also learning how to surrender more, letting go of control, just
Mhm.
be kind of in this energy of curiosity and openness and allow yourself to be surprised at what you experience versus coming in with some sort of expectation that
Right.
something magical, is gonna like it's gonna solve your life or, take away all your pain or whatever it is that you're coming
Right.
in to expect. Like
Yeah.
just with every session of whatever, it's like you come in just being open and to
Mhm.
explore and allow the energy to do what it needs to do without the resistance of you trying to control it.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with that because we talked earlier about you doing an activation and you grabbed your drum, but I wasn't I guess I went into it just like no expectation. Like, well,
Mhm.
actually, I that's not true. I did go into it with excitement because I was curious as
Yeah,
to
yeah.
what you would bring, but it was such a like it was a very cool experience. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, yes, you're
Yeah.
welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, yes. And Jen said, love it. Yeah, she's saying thank you for sharing. So, yes, so cool. Oh, my
Yeah,
goodness.
I'm so glad that you're all able to experience that. Whether this is new to you or that you've experienced it before, it's different every time. So,
Yeah, no, I'm like, honestly, for me, like all of this, even our conversation is very new. Like, I know that there's dragon energy, but I guess I didn't really I've never really experienced in the way that you have talked about it and the way that you experience and now, doing this beautiful activation. So, thank you so much for wanting to share that. Like,
yeah, my pleasure.
I'm like, such a cool experience for me today. Thank you. And I know it will be for others too. So, thank you. So, so cool. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm all regroup. Um, even though there's a part of me I don't want to, but so so graciously have provided a donation gift for our participants to offer a donation to receive your gift.
Hmm.
And just a reminder for everyone, 100% of all the proceeds from every donation goes to the She Rises Foundation. And that foundation is really created for women to just step up into their own empowerment, their own leadership, that really beautiful feminine energy, to, receive a scholarship to, if they want to start a business using their gift, or, if they need a class for education or for coaching, or honestly, for whatever it is to help them get to that next step. That's what really all of this foundation is about, is just supporting one another and uplifting one another. And all of the beautiful ways that we came here to be. So again, 100% of the donations go into the scholarship. And I have to tell you, I've been so excited because this month is the month that I've been giving out scholarships. So
Mm.
it's been so cool with the support that everybody has provided. So I leave it at that because you are offering another beautiful gift to support these women. So I will hand it over to you to explain what people will receive when they donate.
Yeah, so if you liked what I just did with the dragon activation, this one is next level. There,
Wow.
it's part of a library that I offer. They're dragon sound activations. This particular one is dragon DNA light code activation. So it will work on exactly what we talked about, the ancient energies, really helping the light switches for those dormant DNA codes to turn on. And it is layers of dragon light language, sound, frequency, um, to help your physical body um, heal in a way and enough for you to also be able to receive the light codes that will work at your DNA level. And, people have all sorts of different experiences with it, whether it's a physical experience, whether it's like a more of a like spiritual experience. But the purpose of it really is to help activate your dormant DNA codes. And the way you want to work with it is to listen to it, start with like once and then see how it feels. Give it like 2 or 3 days and then listen again. Like I typically don't recommend like days at a time just because it does work on your nervous system. So you need time to sort of like integrate the frequencies, but you don't want to overwhelm the nervous system either. So you want to give it a few days. And then I like to use them as a time for like I'll use it during my meditation time or I'll use it right before bed. I typically don't use it while it's like I don't turn it on and just let it run in the background. Although you could, I've had people who have, and they said like they still had like um, uh, a healing experience, I guess is how I'll say it, where they didn't have to be in meditation to be able to receive the messages that they needed to get to their next level, whatever that looks like. So that's kind of like the instructions on how you would like to, how you should be able to apply that and use it. And it's it's an experience for you to try and experiment with and get introduced to.
Yeah. I'm like, just be curious with. It's so cool. Well, thank you so much for offering that and providing that for a donation. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited of all the people that will get it. Yes, it's so cool. Oh my gosh. So again, all of this will be in her speaker center on the website. You can go into her center and and click on the link. It'll take you to the donation link. You provide the donation and and just check your email because you'll get two emails. One will be, your tax receipt that you get, and then you should get an email that has this in it. So beautiful. Teresa, this has been such a fun time with you.
Yeah,
I
I had fun too, Kelly. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I'll be honest, I didn't really know what to expect, but I knew it was going to be cool and fun for sure. Yeah, and you have such a beautiful spirit. So thank you so much for just sharing your gift and just being part of this series. I'm always so grateful for you to just taking time out of your day to just share with all of us. So thank you so much for being here.
It's been an honor. And happy holidays, everyone.
Yes, yes, happy holidays to everyone. And a huge thank you to everyone that showed up today and everyone that will be watching the replay later. A huge thank you. And yes, oh my gosh, Teresa, thank you so much.
Cool. Bye, everybody.